Thank you, Dichinla. Next, Sister Lobsang Singila will be giving his speech, which will be followed by a question and answer session. For our younger audience, while Sister is giving his speech, please prepare your questions.
Naya langna thasar wa ne kyanzu jablo kids togumidwa nai dus nai jigman nasar jela la jewege las and the full battery is rebe dong with eco horror to ya song the lemo so she stang shang wa de dune pena tasare jablo shugen so yorwa dus ko je de ya shang shang paga surnila ya pesh ya pel ge de 아니 간슬라나메 우티 공수점견 춤부쳐라 아니 구자봉 땅도 토네 개분이 긴두기데 안데네 소배 속소 의배 SFT 기 균련 넘버 안데 간주 베트코란젠다 체베 체스준수 두두봉질라 대패샤 아니 미만 넘버 쉔게 상말은 닝타고 대시 레시아이 아니 갈래 이한테는 룹두 소의 쉔게 소의 시인자 아니 벽에 돈이 시나스 인지 돈이 시나스 인베 인지 돈이 시나스 세기도 대인의 야타대한 파마 망부직 폐유업상 아니 쉔게기 고티기 싱레 삼로당다레 베베자된 전다 내가 제다레 디체발라 알라마 쉔게 찍고 란데와 파마를 개요어봐 파마소 공부 시단디야 디스 캠베이나 아니 냠부르 토네 여러봐 파마다 쉔게 냠도 찰레나고 인베나 뭐 구티차 차그레시 쉐디 당아에 파마 인자 루슈른갈 당아 보면 주시다 당야 라요 말어봐 이래디 조시슈들이샤 파마소 아니 부구냠도 주제 가마마 따야디 계시우시라듯이 계산가 가사 화이트헤드라 위구르치여레 코나 사이언티스트 토브레 코나 화이트헤드 라이브 디렉터 환승도 학 가져 탐배이네야 부국이 셈나라 닝톱디 체아게기도 쓰고도 맞아 야 탐야 루스도 여마로 아 가시야데 캘리포니아 DND 디 West Coast attitude 체제 하이 바이 탐게디니 연도 하버레 디 야가를 쓰고도 호세 간스나 도난 중스 간수 에이시안 부레 믹스 벼 부분서 여봐 나의 다랑 춘디 살론 제대로 진들 내 라바이네 잡로 되버 되어봐 제가 예배라는 고구를 채로야 가서 딩니 가서 닝닝 톱지어로 딩니 닝 톱디 예 열다 근데 망을 직치야지도 대 가서나 당복호라 닝디 소화도 되버래도 feelings emotions 들어봐 디숙 체부 채발라 안 파마기 가서 탐바이네야 디기야니 파조라 소화디 숙체불레 용되어 가나 파조 깨지 셰쇼 디고고쇼 라디오 가나 삼로 뉴시 지어봐 오 디미 첨보레 카가레 삼 마용이야 두다르 우닝도 아도 탐이야 배 개침부를 쓰거든 근데 나나 신경다 사이언티픽ली 부 가져 탐바이네야 디게 디스 닝도 차였어 그래서 부 곱선스다다 라야 진짜 대회 qabla 지금 거야 맨날 라고짱지 딱 샤샤고 봐야 그래서 지금 땡사면 쉬고 거야니 잡로 대월 하지 이게 지금도 거였어 라이 차고도 해야 그 가르도서나 곱선도 쉬고 탐거도 탐야 디기 포졸라 직샘슈다 마수네 지겨로 할로래 디 마마 용고서 저선상 가서 탐야 개첨버려도다 말해 아들이 두세 땅이들이셔 다 파마 이내야 파 이내 마이내 두세 땅에서 인지 미지 담을 대체 주도 전에야 타이거 몸나시 말다 주도 제타 사제 여러와야 딜라고 말다 냠도 대체 여러와야 염도 대시 아니 뭐学교서 러데 라면 한중 엄마 시차 예배까지 요말다 라이저로 와야 맞아 비중으로 띵모 달리신 살론 시켜데 칼라 사스 라이도 디야 망타고 서래 그래서 코즈를 사제시제 고고도 와 사제시제 코즈 삼주지니 열심히 가서 계시도 만징에 차로고도 와 뒤에 땅 고고도 땅 라도 내려다야 수망 녀로 버다 땅 라도야 시샤상으로 와야 아니 디 셈슈케라로 아니 제투그레 약보레 라이즈도아 나저 람상 kho라야 나저 롭달라 람람지기 로야 롭다 기게데 사메 칼라르스나 cap쳐버렸다 로야 너거로 봐 빼골 RTR 다 맞이야 나고마 시작하면 도중 보고 사말라 RTR 아 가와도 여 말다 나 사말라 비켜 레퓨지다 RTR 맞이야 나로 이게 보고 RTR 샷삼 로야 랑제지기 example 등도 랑제 친구 값으로 부구 친구 값라 탁바 직다 증발라 아니 부구 친구 직그러다 미치기 주대대기도 와 주대대기도 와 랑제 친구 시우차사르다 베타 밀레 숙책으로 와야 이내 충분히 콜라 타고 따지 주대 여자 콜라 타고 따 주보다 랑제 친구의 구동을 차르고도 와 타고 친구 따고 말다 간스나 랑제 그 삼로 키단디 충분히 타고 친구시 따 여자 주 여자 타가 타고 따 잡으실로 물거래 삼 랑제 친구 친구 시우차사르 다 밑에 코다 파유지 밑주 있는 데 로통에 된다다 이내 타고 따와도 람사 가바티를 로루도 와 디칸스는 삼로 땅땅 들어도 와 와야 내가 주기 타고를 하니 저 타고 드마다 와체 저 아르다 저 잡제버다 저 간자고 시마요 저게 빠마 가져갈래 야래 빠라마라 가져가래 요스 랍데베 있는 닝제 시주 요 말이 지주 요 말이 자냐 삼데베 있는 아니 보고 이내야 진짜 나래 아니야 시주 요 말이 뒤에 튕규 요 말 잡잡잡잡 하는데도 디선상은 파마게 게임하고 싶으시겠어요 다디 가랑기 디인다 용서 예자탕아 빨아지고 알아 제대로 하라니 알레 디데도 와시에지도 부글라 심슈바에 디베케이션 버리샤 You guys liked it? I told your parents don't be tiger mom give you space let you speak your mind don't scold them Roya during when we were young at Shija we had only dal bhat you should be appreciating what we cook for you Roya They said all the time, right? Yeah, no, do it, do it. 이제 야코 디 가서 선점 지어라 봐. 디 야 개치부르시야. 파마게 축치부시다. 고디 차고고 여버랑 당보란 지고 심슈지지 고고 알아 봐. 아니 나의 차롱 제어가라 통셉이라 봐. 나데 당기 까물라데도 수나다 당기 라데 수나다 아니 비숑로도 도버데 다 dum치만 친구도 열에 예빠라 김제주열에 빠상라 쓰기지 그냥 또 그냥 나중 비숑로도 치고 말해 나한테 따라라 호정은 진짜 찍고도 해 비숑로 한 치고 말쓰라고 너도 예번 친구 떼요 말아 따라 중국대가 거의 용해지 예번 친구 떼고 알아 했잖아 또 야가 치고도 해 나서 동생 마출을 떼요 말아 마출 하대 아니 그래서 예빠라 두고 주래 빠상라 코라 파게 딜라람 되고 코라 야래 수나다 롭다 치고 알았다 파게 도고레스 나브레 아니 가서 동생 가야 말 파주니 숨 쉬어래 아니 파주 직송 이거 좀더 신여봐 구멍 앞에 착바지 최샴라샤 아니 빠와 가디네 라그래 최 푸탈로도 동에래 다스다 최샴로 구멍 앞에 착바지 도스다 나로 착바디 다디 처럼로도 따라다 가서 파주디 쫑스와 슬고 다 요르마야 파주 쫑스들로도 두고 요르바 안데네 알 수나다 비중로다 왜라 아데네 가사 사페바 니말라나 아나 시시녀바 아나 시디게 아니가 디야 가사 초가리 지리녀 사실 두 살론 치죠래 디윈데오 칼라 충두유갑라 아니 나치 여러봐 시종 차기 삼로디 코르게 말아봐 지당 시종 차기는 이내야 파메레 레제데 개개기 가디 있네야 다 표집에 짜졌던데 진짜 최고라다 as더니 개개기 럽럽니 그러야 럽고 이렇게 개심부르셔 디도는 이거 말다 아 추기 되게 야추지 시용도 여러와야 뭐 합업 두제 라파 있는 마 밥레스 여러와 한데가 밥이는 세게 깨자다 오지 여러와 한데 삼되고 알아 야나 심슈 최고라다 진짜 표자된 최고라다 가서 시를 달라 나머지라 이네 고고니 세미나를 박자를 하고도 와 정말 친구 차용돼 와라가 제부도 세시도 캔슬 라바인 난 셈슈도 가는 레벨을 라바인나 충돌감에 시시니 세블라 방샤 디기 즉 최고의 삼선도 여 가르치고로 삼선도 여 말다 아데네다 다슬링레 데네 델리 유니버시티 돌아와 아니 룩두 쉔게 쉔누나 즈브레 아니 바게 기초 캡드 캡게 개굴라 별라 뭐고 제치 정가 주든 쳔다데 로고레 겸이숑자 메라당가 로고레 겸이숑 뭐고되고 인디아 게들로 뭐고치가 도자 제대고 왔다 김생 디나 델리 유니버시티 여백감들 톨로 여백감들 날 로고레라게 요 말다 이내야 파마단기게 리지치 최고를 런럼니게 박샤디 디존사 캔즈 부고 라와 중앙 고디 최고고 여나 뒤딱도 막마탈라야 야야 시종 라스수 라스와스타야 따따레다라나 야가 쭈쭈 제만 연라거든 나 감수 지금 했다야 얘 람니 람스 말라라 나야 배워배 빨라서 라고치에 뺏겨버렸다 나가 가이 럭메르 봐 이제 그냥 다른 거서와 시수고 랍서와 나야 메신저 제일 부고 사바 나라 롱 많이 지어라 봐그 갈세 갈래 산진 가서 우리 제 럭도 슬라리 감주잖아 I didn't say this, okay? If your parents tell you, Sisur said this, so I'm telling you, don't listen to them, okay? 얘기야 dir samju jene chiborda roya ko jab tang ko marta la bia ra yi le ji yo che che ani ga di deli tholob le an chik che ni che ani shunu na zu yo ba semshu di khanelle res la ba yin ba ina a she shi do na dam sla da si jo thang bol le ani ga di chuo khong go do ba chuo kho do khadu ne chuo ngum bo yena kudung ngum bo roya do do ga bo matching khong go matching 다슬링디 인사비 슈글라 가도 강사바라와 네발 매칭디 인지비지 그런 거다 와야 나 다슬레라 딕마스 랑에 동가라 따나 똑똑 살라이죠 나서 배거라 추버 찍닝바지 거라 와야 아니 졸라치기 고구구구두 고 덴데르 두두세로 나서 가서 다슬링 카스케다 잉디도 와야 다디 이 지구요 말다 당에 나오 좀서 춘추니 쌤이 박샤기로 와야 둘러 고야 이래야 나라 다지링이 속도 설교라도 와야 고막 야단데 다지링 속도 설교라 뭐도 나 당신 된데 랑 매지 공에 장 말아야 나도 인샤샤 저거라 다지 누구도 쳤다 똑똑 살 미시 나보 공도 근데 그거 대신 레벨이야 다들 가르쳐서 나봐이나 그 예스 얘들도 충주갑네 친지기 제당 그봐 롭다기 얘기 랍당 셰당기 아니 소도선 야레교래도 와 마도직베 미직 두스 돼야지 매버다 지송사 나주 참매기 지조이네레 낭매이네레 빙자이네레 기겐레제이네레 가르치기 요래 가르치기 요래 되기 아 수수부고 고지 참아샤지 두스 충들가라는 소도 써요 데레레샤 아니야 삼서 나는 미시 건조다 되어라 매진 건조를 껴줘 가지니 치고 그랬어 제가 너무 걸었다 제때대로 X 다슬링서 나를 잡죠 치긴 치면도 여러 지송사 아니 다 파마기 게체 와 근데 다 당소가 가르치고서나 당가라 미스나 지여로 엄마 신우체 링구베체 아니가 시종체 수로 당 하버 토론 당소 지도 부분 중이 진들람고 알아 아가 라바 당부 인자 칸디드 차우레 섭스가 태좀이다 Harvard Law School look to lab graduate students 와 백갈렉 하고 열었어 이내야 예장 연락조 리뷰 디테이션 룩도 소리야 와 그래서 사마폰이 책 야고도 집은 있어라 내 야고도다 야지 찍니 쭉 가서 되겠어 와 아니 집은 있어라 내 야고도 얍네 리뷰 넘네 가슬려도 나 심플죠 La 10 out of 10 아하하 네 but penny love simple pass 아마스야 9.5 out of 10 아니 이게 바디 토레 가슬 8 out of 10 라바이나 이게 excellent 쓰고 그랬어 9.5 out of 10 어서와요 지소사 나라 하사 아니 하버드 든지치글라 게게 제토야 삼로도 요마르와 이래야 당에 논의군 고츠우네 아니 달래 리뷰드 되려 알래 어떻게 도왔었어 다들 대단야 가나 시자 다슬링 게게 레지 창매게 까딜 때는 와야 소도 소리 알래 샤교치로 봐 대지 리뷰 약을래 대샤 된다고 알래 이 상대랑 쉬면도 삼삼 와야 당에 얘 도도 가르쳐 걸었으나 딱 gembatsol라 이내래다 럽중 라 타요민도 나 단다 이내야 단다 달로가 진짜 가를 랭구였으나 아시아 히스토리지도와 아시아 용기 딩월라가 갸나레 딩월라 망조간레 딩월라 막치 로니동 나라 마 침보 가져가 세메스터 레를 진짜 레를 랭가 두고다가 데블로그에 진짜 냥가 두고에 여러봐 럽중 단대 제대고 왔다 지송사 여러 to all the youngsters even today I study so I take classes I go to learn 가서 내가 마 되지 다 된다 어리다 잖아 마신 침보 여그래 여 말했던 돌링 침보 쉬우 누구도 나 다와시 쇼글레 동다 마물로 살 아니 마 되는 게 시에인데요 갈라 띵삽 시에 여러 저거 dim체 아데네 망조 마르게 누구 어래 요마 돌링 침보 쉬우 누구 어래 당소디 여러 미지 링루 스네레 디치루 쉬우 누구 어래 망조 냠고 어래 쓰고 진짜 사상 렌사래 대 가라서나 배배 인자 배권 대시 야고 죽나 야나권 인지미지 신고부도 와 야나만 신의 배권 대시 야고 야식 말에 믹스 게미점도 야 야나권 대시 야발라 야 에시아권 마식나 야나다 에시아 대버숙침을 시우지어라 와야 대시 야토고 말에 야 야나 개바 투대요 갈라르다 배다 야나 찍고 신고여나 고즈 망아 신고하러 와 에시아권 신고고 다 야나다 에시아 드네 예지톤 신고고 그래서 이게 쌈이 봐 안 되도록 할는데 다 디게 사모 롭죠 제체 안 도대 워선다 아니 내가 have business school 에 진짜 럽고 Kennedy school 에 진짜 럽고 챕시 럽더다 파기 송 럽더 law school 에 럽고 divinity school 럽체 아니 가 산다 파스찬 도대데 라바 칼리 담고도야 샌프란시스코 니마 차차 있어 여러분 호 될라 마들라 제체 success dabgir samz bindu ta tere shira ta meta de kungal di cho chuma sunge labsabi shugla lab dabsa the girl sha marebe rola so I'll speak in English is better for you guys yeah so how to be a leader and why you should contribute towards the Tibetan cause. And if you have any questions, what you should do in life and all that, feel free to ask me later, okay? First of all, now, most of you are born and brought up in the US, right? I'm sure you are a bit confused that am I more American or Tibetan or Asian or a minority, right? There's a bit of an identity, I don't want to say crisis, but always this dilemma, right? When you go to school, you're more Americanized. When you come to home, parents tell you you're Tibetan, right? But I always say that you should integrate into American system. That means you follow the constitution, law, regulations, do everything that you have to do as an American. But don't get assimilated. Assimilated means from cultural point of view, values point of view, mindset point of view, you become completely Americanized. So integrate, but don't assimilate. It's a fine balance. One example I had was like 20 years ago, I was in a marriage. There was marriage going on. And then I met this Korean woman. And I asked her, so where you from? She said, I'm American. Because we are Tibetans, right? We always think I'm a Tibetan. I want to go to India. I want to go to Shija. You feel that, if you have that affinity. So I asked her, so where are you actually from? She said, oh, yeah. My parents came from Korea, but I hate Korea. I said, don't you go to Korea? I said, no, I hate that country. I don't go at all. I was like shocked. She is Korean. She doesn't want to go to Korea, right? She doesn't like Korea. That was shocking to me. So that means she's completely assimilated. She just thinks she's completely American and nothing to do with Korea. And I felt that's so sad. But she lost something rich within her, being a Korean. Now, and the fact is, if you assimilate, yes, you can say I'm American, right? But actually, this is not racism, okay? But generally, yeah, Americans will also look at you as a bit different. Let's face it. Right? You can never be completely assimilated, and Americans will actually embrace you. There could be some, I'm sure in San Francisco, there are some left-leaning, ultra-left people who say, oh yes, but generally, it's a fact. So you should always, remember that you are a Tibetan. Now, to remember, you should know about yourself. To do that, you must study about Tibet. It's very important. So either in high school or college, you should always try to write a paper on Tibet. If you do research, write a thesis paper or class paper, more you write about it, more you know about it. That's very important. Now, if you want to be, and then generally mindset is, there's a very common saying, ordinary minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. Right? So now you must progress from ordinary mind to average to great minds. So now talking about ideas, now we should think as far as Tibetan movement is concerned, how we should reinvent ourselves. Reinvention of movement is very important. If you study any movement around the world, whether it's civil rights movement in America, it's always, they go through the roller coaster ride. Sometimes civil rights movement at its peak, then it goes down, comes back, goes down, comes back. Then they succeed. If you study African National Congress movement, right? They go up, Nelson Mandela go to prison, go down, again they come back, and they go down, then they come back. So that's a reality of any movement. And then when they go down, lack of creativity, lack of invention, lack of new ideas will take you down. And then if you come back, you come back when you come with new ideas. Now SFT, being a co-organizer, I must give kudos and praise them. Right? The fact that the Confucius Institutes, in the U.S., in many universities in the U.S. got shut down, primarily because SFT led the movement against Confucius Institute. Recently, Thermo Fisher, right? See, it's a very successful movement. Pamasoene poke warta, right? Confucius Institute lagi ngoma tholop khala jana shungu dosung tang she. Confucius Institute really su yudo khala rwa. Hegon doling chechugo mare. Jana mangzo kon doling chechugo tholop yong la rada. That dige gojatu su che luptu soba ki lingu pe che gojap tu chungurwa. 아니 예자 표현이 니 제소와 나주기 타 팅도스 DNA collection 치고도스야 줘봐. 디기 company 디 Thermo Fisher 랑 Cambridge based Ari based company 치래. 디기 타 testing kit 디 코드 송고래. 아니 SFD 코드 뭐고 제는 담아 괜찮으면 아다 company 전부 시우래 $1 billion 열에 먼저 보고 빨아 강치나 가르쳐야 섬고. 오늘 제 뭐냐고 젤라 Thermo Fisher 기 contract 디제 여기 메스 And in the recent, organically, there was something beautiful has happened in the Tibetan world. What is that? Hakara dance and song. Well, look, who started this? There was no leader. No one said, oh, this Hakara, you must dance, you must sing, you must wear traditional dress. No one said that. Right? So if you, in any movement, of course, leader and leaders are important. Often ideas don't come from leaders. It just happened organically. And it's so beautiful. Inside Tibet to India to US to Toronto, very famous, right? And if you look at Toronto and if you look at Chengdu or Lhasa, Tibetan dancing, almost a dress, everything, Europe, import, export, it's so beautiful. Who started this? Just organically. Youth. Yeah, Marabe. And in fact, it's true. I'll come to this topic. If you're interested, I'll come to this. In the recent years, this is not a criticism, it's a fact, that Tibet as an issue has lost from the headlines of news media. If you listen to American president meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping, or American the Secretary of State meeting Chinese Secretary of State, when they make statements or issue press releases, in press releases sometimes they mention Tibet, but in live press conferences they mention Taiwan, they mention Hong Kong, they mention Xinjiang. Tibet has lost from the headlines. It's a fact. So you just think, oh, Tibet is now losing its steam. It's also not true, because internally, the beautiful Hakar movement, it's there. Chiloni menerwa, nangloni ya ngazu lang yung do ya. Tada tangza chuba da wunju kante tok kante do tangza kunyo. Medewe ajla da anti da ama yorwa tangza changma. Ani mixe she tabde wala. Ngazu kabla da ngazu Delhi University yewe kabla wa. Lengui pet sawe shugla dance labada bet khora mithun ge rawa. Tangro ya. I am a disco dancer re mother ya. Nowadays, when you have gathering, when we say dance Bollywood song, you go like that, Nowadays, however, that's share the Tabe Rabuda, Lakar Pet, Persic Tabu, the Roya, so you jail mother, Jagashi, what it shows is assertion of our identity. So we, the Tibetans, are embracing our culture, our identity, our custom, and taking pride in it. That's it. 아주 그 귀견라 망보배 산줄럽다로와 참마 투치 쉐인다. 그러와 이내야 귀견라서 귀창고래다 가가가가 랍랍랍 로주 도사로 단도 가가가가니 열게 두면 더야. 다 당소로와야 표시에 탑 표지에 쾌 로야 보고서 찍탑 용도로 가버려 오시면 돼. 엄마는 표지에 쾌 라도가 다른 쳐서 레그로야 당소 표제가 간데 잉더로야 무슨 대바 시직 탑 당소 시주 차시我们写숨을 해 맞다 주 당도 주요가 로야 다들 가르던 거라서나 배발랑에 딩니래다 미리기 샤시의 유행에 봐 나랑 저 배배기 빼유 로줄라다 가오칭에 먼저 빼미 좀버다 얘들 말돼 빼 좀버다 so we all must take pride being a Tibetan. We are one of great people. If you read our history, great kings you ever. Imagine the 7th and 8th centuries. 7th and 8th century, that's like, 1,300 years ago. Tibetan scholars from Tibet went to India, spent years learning Sanskrit, and translated Buddhist texts into Tibetan and brought it back to Tibet. Hangsaya. 들음 dimba geba tadang osu yo da phe sadu phe mangu shibu ji yorwa khona dum nyen da kale khaw pe men de phe ne lesa ne trak na jin le yang ze le su shiga ze le su kirong sanjam le su dene ani bed the singna ke no khoba gen le nepali police ki the su ju su pha tang su su tang su a bo samye din de do ya da dhur lo chik tong sum yeng wa samtanda lo za su 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 do ji ki se para khang ngi para khang pu ani Langala Jensi, Sagor, Kuma, Chomgor, Chakpa, Segorda. If there were like 10 scholars who trekked from Tibet to India, 6 or 7 die on the way. They get killed, they get robbed, even wild animals eat them because there was no road. They just walked through the forest. Still, how many scholars came to India, learned Sanskrit, went back and translated Tibetan as a Buddhist text in Tibetan? Hangsayarwa. Now imagine now, you go to India, okay? Spend 3 years, learn Hindi, translate Buddhist text from Hindi to Tibetan or to English. Try. Imagine. Hangsayarwa, their determination, their commitment. So yes, we are talking about political struggle. But spiritually also, look how determined, how proud, how patriotic, how courageous Tibetans were like 1,300 years ago. 항상야로와 말해봐야 된대. 그러와 다야 예자 예미 가르치고를 표현하라 they're repressing, discouraging Tibetan culture. They're sending the million children to boarding school so that they learn in Chinese, speak Chinese, and salute Mao Zedong and Xi Jinping, forget his Solan Zalama, forget Buddha. That's what they're trying. But organically, Chinese Tibetans say, no, we will sing our song, we will dance our dance, we'll wear our costume, right? And then make it as fashionable as possible and make it as beautiful as possible. Right? That shows we are really great people. We are very capable people. So we all must take pride. So I had the fortune of serving as Sikyong for 10 years. Now I've traveled around the world. Now I'm writing a book on how to set up and run democratic government exile. So now imagine Belarusian, okay, they are in exile. Afghans, they are in exile. Syrian, they are in exile. Burmese, they are in exile. And Venezuelan, right? And of course Uyghur, Hong Kong, and Mongolians. So I have a roundtable discussion, because they all are saying, no, we want to learn from Tibetan government exile. They all want to adopt, start government exile. And Uyghurs, my friends, they openly say that, oh, we learn so much from you. So I'm going to May to the World Uyghur Congress 20th anniversary in the month of May, early May. And I'm asked to speak on how to set up democratic government exile. So the World Uyghur Congress could be Uyghur government exile. And we are the example. There are 150 million refugees. They lost their countries. Afghanistan, all of them. What they say, they want to learn from us. How do you set up? How do you run government exile? So I have 15 years of experience academically. I wrote my doctorate dissertation on how to set up government exile. And I have 10 years of practical experience. And I applied to a foundation for funding to write this book. Foundation say, absolutely, you are the best person to do it because you have 15 years of academic background and 10 years of practical experience. You are the best person to do it. And I'm meeting someone from General McMaster here at Hoover Institute here at Stanford, because they're also trying to set up, help Venezuelans to how to set up government exile. But then, 회슝 님믹베타 사인스. 레다 capture 사마기. 진주 슝 계속 간디스 제투고. 콘솔로 슝게 여말 레구 여말에. 여말다. 회슝 한데 진짜 시자. 맹가 롭타 저조 저서 당에 항대여로. 저서 투고 놓아야. 얘라 예뻐신 라인 가서 가서 베네수엘라 코스가 그룹 디스커션 체로. 가서 베베 날 당선 여러분 망쇼 가르다고 하고 왜 라로봐. Normally Americans what they watch reality show, right? 가다르 가서 all the reality shows, right? And these youth they like to watch BTS, right? Listen to Weekend Dre, right? 말해. 네, 말해. Right? And play Roblox, right? Dragon game. 네, 말해. I know all your secrets, okay? Don't pretend. Yeah. If you open the social media usage, it crosses 6 hours a day. I know. Instagram, TikTok, so 이게 가르쳐 됐습니다. 그 계속 토로 쳐든다. 남시 약타셔 여러분. 라 돼서 알겠라디. So in the Tibetan community, what is the most watched show? Tibetan Parliament. 상어다대. 여기서 라브라 베네수엘라 호서 돼서 땅에 망쳐 가진다고 했어요. 어린들도 we don't watch Congress sessions, sir. Afghan we don't watch Parliament years. We don't. Tibetans. For us, political cause, political issue is so important. 그래서 여러분 촌이 열다. 디기면도 라 디기면도 라워다야. 디기도 라. 디조게 디기면도 라 디조게 디 로데 열다. 얘라 이제 빼 양보를 얘라. 갈라 라고해. 디기도 랑에 니가기 라고르와. 간디고라 돼서 디기도 쓰고. 왜 말이야? 디기면도 쓰고 어때 디기면도 세서 라 갈라고. 돼서디래. 딜레마 타래 요 말어와야. 길을 돼서 레더라면데. Omanga has a Jewish, I had a Jewish friend. And he said, do you Tibetans fight? I said, yeah, but we are non-violence. We don't. No. You must fight. When you fight, you you keep your cause burning. If you don't fight, then it loses flame and you disappear. So there's a saying in Jewish law: if there are 4 Jewish, there are 5 opinions. If there are 5 Jewish, there are 6 organizations. But they kept fighting for 2,000 plus years. Finally, they got the country back, Israel. They're still strongest in America, Europe, wherever. Why? They're constantly debating and disagreeing and criticizing each other. What are they criticizing? Jewishness, their country, their religion, their faith. That's why they are so strong. So we must fight. Ordinary minds discuss people. Level kumachi yorwa, kalawa, mi kondra, shedigre. Level ding ding yanarwa, ledon shigre. Level yakshu karchigre, idea. Nasatanda pass hajurea. Mick Janjaraya, which you mentioned, and then Mardova, the Tonsa, Conjo Tonsa, Cordoda Tonsa. Imbereo. Tona Thomas from the Chirachu of the last year. Mota me cota bella, you didn't let this Sachuria. There, Marave. La. Roya. Gisela, she taste. Me get you go Marduda. There was old Dick was on a best side. Ding a chin day in the home. That's 17. And so now we must reinvent our movement. As I've been saying, even now, after I left my job at Sikyo, I still take classes. Then first I try to, if you want to understand Tibet, if you want to explain about Tibet, you must know China. If you don't know about China, you can't explain Tibet. You can explain to Tibetans, but if you want to explain to Chinese and other audience, then you must understand China. But then to fully understand China, you must understand Asia. Now, fully understand Asia, you must understand geopolitics, international relations. So, now what is the current debate in the world? Whether there will be a war between America, the number one, and rising power China. Right? Because now, so this debate is going on generally, but you must understand fully what does it mean. So I took a class. My friend teaches at Harvard Business School on war and peace. So he teaches 2,000 years of big wars, great wars. So if you fully understand all these great wars, then when you get up and speak, I can go to any international forum, I can appear in any news media, and I can sound as good as any expert on war. Because I've read thousands of pages about great wars. Now I'm taking a class on Asia. Asia from the point of view of China and Chinese. So I can explain better. And what is the dynamic? Because what they say, 21st century will be century of Asia because of economic growth. But there's also military growth. Okay? And there are potential wars. And there are potential frictions. And you must understand where are the frictions. Which countries in Asia lean towards China? Cambodia, Laos, for example. But Vietnam is confronting China. For external security, they seek help from America. But for internal security, they buy surveillance cameras, everything from China. See? So they are also hedging. Indonesia, before the president-elect, before he takes over as the president, first country he visited was China. But then Philippines, the son of the dictator Marcos, now his son, he is leaning towards America, right? So now you must understand what is going on. Where is Thailand? Right? Where is Indonesia? Where is Singapore? Where is Korea? Where is Japan? Where are they leaning? And Burma. And now if you study Burma, very complicated. Burma has China as the border, India as border, and Thailand as border, right? Which side, which territory of Burma lean towards China and why? So you must understand all this so that you can explain. Do you know in ASEAN countries, from whether it's Philippines, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, the top 10 richest people, all the billionaires, who are they? Whether it's Malaysia or Thailand or Burma, all Chinese. Yeah, can you imagine? All, because they are the richest, so now will they lean towards China or will they lean towards Burma or will they lean towards America or not? So even now, I study, okay? So if you want to be a great leader, you must always study. You must always do self-study. It's the most beautiful thing. To study is the most beautiful thing. You get knowledge. And then now, wherever I'm asked to speak, before I used to, even at Harvard, I used to speak only about Tibet. Nowadays, when they're teaching on China, they ask me to give Tibetan perspective on China. And when they're teaching on Asia, they ask me to come and talk about, Tibetan perspective of Asia. See, you can always expand your knowledge and make yourself available. Now, we should reinvent. How? You must know the global discourse, Great War. Now, where should we put ourselves so that we can navigate? Now, if there's a war between America and China, how will you articulate your cause? Will you say non-violence, I'm out of here? Are you going to say that? If you say out of here, this okay, you stay on the side and we will not discuss about you, we will not support you, we will not talk about you. Now you must make yourself relevant in the discourse. Where are you going to put yourself? So we must think ahead because this is going to happen. Now, climate change is happening. It's real. The importance of Tibet. How are you going to articulate it? Recently, there was this scholar from America. Just a few days ago, he was giving a talk at Harvard Kennedy School. And he was talking about, the trade war is going on between America and China. America imposed a lot of tax on Chinese imports. He was explaining, 아니 the narrative 라그로 갑자기 갈라고 그러스나 아리 테 갭체 아리 그 눈두치기도 습니다 야나슝기 시에디레 나지 디섬기도 아야 트럼플레체 재미기 잘라라 테침보 갭체 여러봐 아니 재미 딱딱스스 라고요 방지 와야 다 추어셔면 할로 디 야고 말해라고 그래 이 코나 집었고이 총디라 예바땅에 테야야디 재미 고츠르다스 요거 집었고이 봐 간선에 덴마크 고마 급주 겁중 겁게라 배외가라 야나가라 도와미도다가라 저주샤기 일라니 UNSC 냠대겨서 돌링 체브레 저주 기대오가라 예미 같이해래 덴마크 총성마 까셔래 야나 잘라 종 먹었어 뉴그메스라 니동줄로라 노르웨네 노벨 피스 커미티 그래다 루샤바라 노벨 피스 프라이스나 루샤바 다 노벨 피스 커미티 노르웨이슝 대마치 이거 말다 야나 같이라고 노르웨이 총성마 까셔 계속이 디 살몬 유그메스 계속 잘라 유그메스 손자 초그메스 아직 노르웨이 잘라 가서는 책 야적 야 얘기 숨기 가셔 스웨덴 게로와 탭종의직 야나 견주칭 탭종고 그 타일랜드 비치 데데야다 개미망밀레 키칭시 개미 종알루샤 스웨덴 게 뭐것이데 갈라 뭐가 제초금멜 스웨덴 게 총상만 가셔 오스트레일리아 그러다 한다 실르데기 팬데믹 한에 고추 가서 하고도 야나니 고추를 좀 가서 하고도라도 오스트레일리아 잘라서는 요 와인 요금을 가셔 아니 갈라인스나 개미 따바 갈라고도스나 어디 개미 잘라라 테 잡체 테치보 잡체 송대 당부 지금은 두스 러그두스 근데 총간에 테 잡 고중에 괜찮이 봐 계속 루숨주니 덴마크다 노르웨이다 슬로바키아다 스위트저랜드 아니 상황 야대인 발라로 거기 레기야 맨이 여러와 눈에 담고 괜찮을 라인 봐 다들 갈라 디송자 아리 주마줄라스 안디고 라이메게 차도 와야 so you have to 가서 삼로 땅고도 가서기 짜대도 간데스 대시 얘기했어요 다 가서 갈라 그래 아리다 야나버로 총디 야베서 야고 민두스 다 아리다 야나 깨지시오두스 win-win mutually beneficial dialogue 채우두스 야메나 슝다 케바 술렌 디시그래 Arita Janata, the Kishil, this shigre. Yellow pay a bore like Yanagi. Rava? Nime, Doling, Kamenang, Nedu, sell pay a bore. Nazolo ship Juni Kism, the Kishi, Ladia, because of Nazol Shigman Dolly. So, my point is, you must understand what Chinese government officials are saying. And you must articulate in a manner, and you must come with your own narrative, why they are on the wrong side. For example, I was explaining about the tariff. Normally what we say is, oh, Trump imposed a tariff on Chinese goods. And they were penalized, and it's wrong. It affects Americans, it harms Americans, and they say, we must have dialogue, sort this out. But actually, China always used to impose tariff. When Denmark used to try to move a resolution at the UNSCR, China cut off trade with Denmark. When His Holiness was invited to Switzerland and the foreign minister met, they cut off trade with Switzerland. When Nobel Prize was given to Liu Xiaobo, Nobel Peace Committee, China cut off and imposed tariff on Norwegian goods. So they've been weaponizing trade for 30 years. But then now the way they talk as though it's America's fault, America is weaponizing trade, is so unfair. But I say you've been doing it 30 years. So what I'm trying to say is when you reinvent our cause, you must reinterpret. You must control the narrative. To do that, you must understand what Chinese are saying, what they're doing, and then explain. Sangay. Very good. So now, as you can clearly see, I'm being a teacher now. I can go on and on. My class is for 2 hours, and I teach a seminar, so I can go on and talk for 2 hours. Okay, but I won't do that. I just want to say thank you to Tenzi Dejala, and we are the two excellent MCs. Yes, Sidigila and Dionla, right? Ming Jie Doya. I do remember, so you have to remember, okay? So yesterday I met few people at the airport. Today I met them again. I could tell them, oh, yesterday you were wearing black chuba and wonju. Yesterday this wonju, that wonju. No, you must, to be a leader, if you want, you must remember all the small things. Huh? Yes or no? Yeah. It's very important. Huh? Next time they'll come, oh, do you remember I was wearing that chuba in San Francisco? I have no idea. But in 48 hours, I can always say, oh, you like that, you're wrong. Oh. So it's very important, okay? If you want to be a leader, you must practice this to remember people, to remember what they're wearing, what they're saying, And then because everybody, normally, this is what I realized, everybody would like to be appreciated. Now, when I became CTO, of course, the president, a high-profile protocol. So one day in my office, I was just going through social media, and I found some of the CTA staff members, the drivers, the Magenda, Facebook, I went through, and they're all like busy. So if you go by ranking, they rank the lowest. Right? If you go by hierarchy, they rank lowest. But if you go through the social media, they are like full of their own identity, pride. Hey, you, and then they're commenting with each other. That means at an individual level, whether he's a cook or a driver, at the lowest level, they are human beings. They have the sense of dignity, they have a sense of pride, and often we overlook and look down upon them. You should never do that. So why these people who are singing Sungda Lemoso outside? Yeah. That's my favorite song. So you make a few moves. The second place, next place I go, they will sing the same song. You see? Why? I'm planting that. So all these. I've been very fortunate to work very closely with His Holiness. And then, for me, each time I go through trouble or challenges or dilemma, confusion, His Holiness was right next to me. And then I share with him, and he gives me lots of wisdom. That helped me a lot. This famous, I've shared this story, Minnesota, somewhere. His Holiness giving a teaching. And then, I had the privilege of riding in the same car with him. And then His Holiness, he says, oh, go this way. So did you understand what I was saying? He was teaching for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Now you have to be very honest with His Holiness. Yes or no? So Your Holiness, I said, I understood. 50, maybe 60, 70% while you were teaching. But I forgot most of it when you finish teaching. It's a fact, yes or no? Someone speaks very, wow, so nice. And as the event is over, what did he say? Yeah, I don't even remember. So it's like, he's always looking at me. And then I said, but I said, the problem that I have, the challenge, it became smaller. And he answered, no. The challenge or the problem never becomes smaller. Your perspective becomes bigger, holistic. Then he said, for example, you are Sikh, right? So remember, before you, in this world, there were hundreds and thousands of kings and queens and prime ministers and presidents, all have been through same or similar problem like you. Many have solved it, many have not. And then many kings and presidents, prime minister, for centuries to come will have same or similar problem. And some will solve it, some will not solve it. I was like, oh, my God, you always think, right, there's a problem in front of you, you have to solve it like Jorwa. I said, oh my God, hundreds of them could not solve it, so no big deal, Hundreds have not solved, so no big deal like that. So you're not attached with the problem, but you're attached with the process, with your efforts. Because result is out of your hand. Result is out of your hand. What you can control is your efforts. If you're sincere in your efforts, if you are very dedicated in your efforts, sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. So don't be obsessed with the result, with the goal, but obsessed with the process and your efforts. And as long as you do that, you're happy. So great Shantideva said, right, this very famous saying, if you can solve a problem, why worry about it? If you cannot solve a problem, what is the point of worrying about it? Because you're not going to solve it. What's the point of worrying? You worry too much. Oh my God, I couldn't solve it. But in the process of worrying, what happens? It dampens your enthusiasm, it drains you emotionally, it drains you physically. By the time the problem is in front of you, when there's a solution, you're exhausted. That's why, if you're SFT activist, right, what they call it, what burn? You get burnout. Often, Americans, I've met some Tibet support groups. I've been working and supporting Tibet for like 5 years. Now I'm burnt out. Because they were too obsessed with the result. They're testing, I must free Tibet now. Next year. And then when year, 2 years, 3 years passes, and when it doesn't, happen, it's like, I'm burned out now, I can't do it. I said, no. You be obsessed with the effort. Whether it happens or not, it's out of your control. That's why we believe in lay. So the karma is very helpful, very beautiful. So if you get good grades, be happy. If you don't get good grades, you just say next time. We are so obsessed with grades, yes or no? So, oh my God, parents, where is your result? Are you studying? Tomorrow you must get A. Are you good? Parents are obsessed with result, yes or no? Don't be obsessed with results. Be obsessed with efforts. Because the Lobsang brother you want to go result da kharchiro ma ta nge da bugundi da dine che nyala la doere se thangi da bhet kora bakle homeless shelter juice ta nge da khat same day yorwaya. And then often people ask me, so how come in my 10 years of my service, there were a lot of praises. Some people praise you, some people criticize you, and then people always say, how do you handle this, Very simple. Again, great Shantideva said, right? If someone praise you, don't get too excited, Dijin. Okay? Why? Because there are others criticizing you. But then when people criticize you, don't get too upset. Why? There are others praising you. So that's called what's that called? Equanimity. Okay? In Buddhism, if you are Tibetan, you must know about equanimity. Okay. So people always talk about getting enlightened, Buddhahood and all that, right? That's next level. But at our level, equanimity is very important. When someone criticizes you, hey, you know how many people praising me? When some people thank you, but I know the others criticizing me, you know. So you walk your path. In life, you don't have to make enemies. Again, I learned this very quickly. When I was activist at Delhi University, I worked so hard for Tibet Youth Congress. I went to prison and we raised the largest fundraising and we organized the most activities. At year end, some people were criticizing me, you know. They were like campaigning against me. I got shocked of my life. I was like, oh my God, what did I do, you know? I've never met these people. I don't know these people. But they just hate you. Again, you must know in life, there will be people who will not like you no matter what.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? They are ignored. Yeah, so I've been saying that, you know. But at the same time, there will be people like you no matter what. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. Don't get influenced by what people are saying or doing. Be influenced by what you're thinking and what you want to do. At lunch, I just met few people who said they didn't vote for me in 2011. They voted for me in 2016, but they have never met me. They're meeting me for the first time in my life. I've never met many people, or so many people, you know, they support. I've never met them in my life, right? So as long as you are sincere in your mindset and in your efforts, there will be people who will appreciate you. And then law of karma kicks in. You know? Those naysayers, they get kicked, karma kick, they get, you know. So these are very, very important, okay? What else? So I've been very fortunate because, you know, whenever I have some issues, things like that, I ask His Holiness and he gives me, you know, mantras and he gives me advice. So I'm just imparting those things, okay? So with that, that's just some syndrome. You're going to learn to share learning it. Don't you chigurta ho? In a yavuchu study, you're going to chizo, non chapsi, the machine, which you're what you young on share love or young.